Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Elizabeth.
That's me.
Oh, man, look at you.
I know, look at me.
Got a question for you.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Uh-huh.
You want to know what it is?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what's ridiculous?
I do know it's ridiculous.
Okay, that's not my question. No, my question is, do you know what's ridiculous?
I do know it's ridiculous, and I have a quick question for you.
Oh, really?
What's the best wedding you ever went to?
Best wedding I ever went to. Okay, this is like a trick question, like other than your own, right? That's the thing.
Just what was the best wedding you've ever been to?
Yeah, okay. I went to one in a church in Carmel that was really cool. It was the Mission Carmel Church, and that was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the reception like?
I was young. I cut out. I was like, I don't want to. It was nice. It was really nice.
It sounds like it was probably
super
fancy.
nice, and that's why I was like, I'm out of here. Deuces.
Did they have? Did they serve chicken tenders there?
I do not believe they did, Elizabeth. I left before all of the dinner courses were served, but I do not think there was chicken tenders.
A good wedding should just be like a good party.
Yes, I would agree.
Like a wedding reception shouldn't be. By the way,
the weddings usually are an indication of the marriage. And so this couple, big show, did not last.
You're right. It is. It is an indication. And I think you got to do what's you. You got to be genuine.
Yes.
And so, you got to throw a good party for a reception. And July 21st, 2025 is a special day.
Okay.
It's National Chicken Tender Day. And I'm going to guess there are a lot of couples out there who are like, honey.
Are you being paid for this?
Stop it. We got to get married on a special day. Like, what's a day with a lot of meaning for us? National Chicken Tender Day.
Of course. Chicken tendies, baby.
Tendies. And so you think about, okay, where should we get married? That's the other question. All right, we know the date, National Chicken Tender Day.
July 21st.
Well, how about Vegas?
Circle the day. Oh, that's good. It'll be hot.
Vegas is, exactly.
July, Vegas.
So July 21st, Vegas. And you're going to okay, let's go to the iconic Viva Las Vegas wedding chapel.
Why not? It sounds like there's some kind of Elvis angle. I love that.
And then the big, it's really important, who's your officiant?
Oh, right. Who is my officiant?
That's a make or break right there.
It's going to be
you got a good officiant. That's solid.
It's the captain of the wedding.
Yes. What about this? There's this guy, Manny Mayo.
Mr. Mayo.
Manny Mayo. He's the perfect one. You know why?
Why, Elizabeth?
Because Manny Mayo is the Hellmann's mayonnaise mascot.
Dear God.
I'm showing you this picture right now.
That looks scary.
This is the whole thing, basically. Okay, so Hellmann's mayonnaise
is this like a Ghostbusters sequel?
Is doing a Sin City wedding giveaway. So you can enter to win to get married on National Chicken Tender Day. Because they're promoting their new chicken tender dip line.
Oh God, this is
so many people sent this to us. This has just had alarms going off, and they picked up the Elizabeth Bat phone. So you can get married in the Viva Las Vegas Wedding Chapel.
Sure.
It's officiated by Manny Mayo.
Why not?
The reception features a chicken tender tower.
What?
And all these chicken tender dips.
Is that like one of those?
A professional photographer, and then a $5,000 stipend to cover travel costs.
Oh, thank goodness.
So that says entrants must be 21 years or older and must be engaged or in a serious relationship, ready to tie the knot. So you can't just grab a buddy and be like, let's do this.
We're doing this.
You have until June 20th to enter. So anyway, anyone out there who wants to get married by a jar of mayo.
There's a standing offer.
There it is.
This summer.
Boom, done.
You and who?
There it is. All right. Now, you know what? That's ridiculous.
That is damn ridiculous.
In summary, that's
P.S. Why? They replaced the name for chicken tenders in my lifetime because at one point they were often referred to as chicken fingers.
Yeah, chicken fingers.
Which is one of the worst names for a food you could ever think of. Chicken fingers. Because one, chickens don't have fingers, and then two, why would you want to eat a chicken?
Have you ever seen chicken feet in the supermarket? Totally. They call them chicken paws.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen them in Chinatown, so they don't have it in English.
You don't go to Walmart enough, my friend.
No, I do not. They won't let me. Not after the lawsuit.
I'm a connoisseur. I can tell you what's a good Walmart and what's a subpar Walmart.
That's your time in the South. Talking.
I did my time, and now I'm an expert.
Now you know.
American Canyon
10,000
has
hours.
an amazing Walmart.
Really? Okay. Well, I'll keep that. Let me take a note.
Think about
American
that.
Canyon, right?
Think about that.
Never go
If you want to ever get married by a mayo jar, try it in the Walmart parking lot in American Canyon.
Here, there's space.
Yeah.
Plenty of parking.
Exactly.
Bring RVs. Now, Elizabeth, I got a fun one for you today.
Do you know?
It's like a lazy Susan of crime.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you give it a spin and just see what's on offer when the spinning wheel stops.
Nice. Wontons.
Yeah, it's celebrity beefs that lead to catching hands.
Oh.
Yeah, no, well, it's not what you think, because it's like Sly Stallone and Princess Di.
They fought? They fist fought?
Steven Seagal versus Pants. Richard Gere catching an elbow to the face, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I get it." Shia wants to fight Tom Hardy.
Oh no!
And that's like, and lastly, there's that one famous beef that led to the greatest art of the 21st century. Ready?
I am
steady. Let's go.
Go.
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free, and it's 100% ridiculous.
Jeez.
Oh, Elizabeth.
Oh, Zaron.
Where is the beef? The celebrity beef. I've got it right here. Why are they so fun and always so ridiculous?
So fun.
Do you have any
so
favorite
ridiculous.
celebrity beefs ever? Like, I'll give you a moment to think.
Yeah, I
love
need a lot of moments.
Eddie Van Halen versus Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit.
That's a good one, because
Right?
didn't that involve like a tank?
Eddie Van Halen drove a tank across Los Angeles to get his guitar back that he had loaned Fred Durst. That's the level of celebrity beef that I want in my life.
I don't really, 50 Cent beefs with a lot of people, and he's very petty.
He's very good at it.
And he's usually pretty truthful. I mean,
he's usually right.
He's like dicey and real in his own life, but
yes, sure. Aren't we all?
Aren't we? We're all problematic in one way or another.
He's got that vitamin water money just to F around and find out now. So,
but I like how he'll just start something. Well, I mean, then my favorite beef.
What's your favorite beef?
Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, and
Drake,
Aubrey.
And Aubrey.
Yeah.
That is just.
That's what I thought. I thought you were going to go right to that.
Do you when they were dropping the songs, like how exciting that was?
Oh my God, you would text me like within minutes.
It would come out and you'd be like, and you'd have to like listen.
Yeah.
And listen and like
Decode,
a few times, and you're just like, my jaw would drop.
The poetry levels were incredible, like the layers upon layers. I mean, the man deserves his Pulitzer.
He's a genius.
So today I've got tales of celebrity beefs that obviously border on the criminal, because that's what we do. We got fist fights, elbows to the face, heated battles. My favorite, though, is Steven Seagal versus Pants. So let's start with dessert, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Do you know that Steven Seagal was once humbled in the most fantastic way possible?
I love that.
Before I tell you that story, we need to cover a little backstory. We've discussed Steven Seagal before. I mean, how could we not?
Yeah.
The man is a walking poem of ridiculousness.
He's so bizarre.
I told you that one time how he was involved in a sheriff's raid down in Maricopa County, Arizona.
Oh, that's right.
Where he and a tank tag teamed a house. And that turned into a whole debacle. Well, I got at least 2 other Steven Seagal debacles for you today. Now, Steven Seagal himself needs really no backstory, I don't think. He is Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
But this story requires just a little history. Elizabeth, I want you to now meet our fighters, okay?
Okay.
First, we have John Leguizamo. You
I
like him?
like him.
He's fun, right?
I like him.
Now, anyway, when he was first starting out, he was in a movie called Executive Decision. Are you familiar with this film?
Vague. It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, it's a vague film. It came out in 1996. As you can probably tell by the title, it was a largely forgettable 90s action thriller.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a product of super producer Joel Silver, the guy who did like the Batman.
Right.
Now, the cast is some of our favorites. There's Law and Order's B.D. Wong.
I love him.
I know. Staff Sergeant Louis Jung, U.S. Army Special Forces.
Nice.
And there's Joe Morton, a.k.a. Eli Pope from Scandal. He plays First Sergeant Campbell Cappy Matheny, U.S. Army Special Forces. There's also Halle Berry as Jean, the flight attendant.
Poor Halle.
And the big star was Kurt Russell as Dr. David Grant, consultant for U.S. Army Intelligence. Then there was the other big star, Steven Seagal, as Lieutenant Colonel Austin Travis.
Austin Travis, like 2 Texas names. He's all Texas Texan.
I'm glad you caught that. Now, you can tell by his name. He's a cowboy who's a loose cannon, bit of a maverick. It's all there.
I love it.
Now, throw into this a mix of a young actor named John Leguizamo as Captain Carlos, a.k.a. Rat Lopez.
Oh, boy.
Tough, right?
Yeah.
Also, the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Also from the U.S. Army Special Forces. Now, the plot doesn't matter. It really does not.
Sure.
But there's nerve gas on a plane that terrorists plan to detonate over Washington, D.C.
I hate when that happens.
Right? And there's only one man who can save the world. Steven Seagal. Now, Elizabeth, in the name of journalism, I didn't watch the movie. But I did watch the trailer. And it featured great lines like, in an age when terrorism knows no boundaries and the level of threat knows no limit.
Wait, and this is 96?
Yeah.
Oh, honey.
Cut to Kurt Russell saying to the president, "Sir, I don't think this is about hostages." Elizabeth, it was not about hostages.
Wait, it wasn't about
No,
hostages?
it was about nerve gas. It was a passenger plane carrying a load of hijacked nerve gas. It's basically a flying mass destruction device.
Oh, my God.
Before 9/11,
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
I was going to say.
But luckily,
this is triggering.
back to the narrator, when global response is routine and advanced technology can accomplish miracles, a life or death decision for hundreds of hostages in a plane or 40 million civilians on the ground will come down to a choice between doing the unthinkable and the impossible. Elizabeth, I'll give you
a choice
hint.
between the...
It makes no sense. I was like writing it out. I'm like, am I missing a line? And I'd have to go
like,
back
hold
and I'm
on.
like, no, that's...
And the beginning
those
of
are
it
all the
sounds like
phrases.
some weird Silicon Valley ad
Yeah,
for
right?
like tech solutions.
When you go back and you actually read the phrases they're together.
What's
you're
the
like,
choice?
what?
You're making a choice between...
The unthinkable and the impossible. And one of those is Steven Seagal.
I don't even know I don't know where they're going with this.
Warner Brothers invites you
What's
to fasten your
who's the
seatbelts.
unthinkable and who's the... Okay.
Now,
One is Kurt Russell, one is,
These days, David Zaslav runs Warner Brothers into the ground. But
Oh,
back in the 90s...
And gets paid.
Things weren't much better, apparently, because apparently Warner Brothers, in doing the research on this, I was reading about it, and I found this one juicy fact. Warner Brothers traded the script for Forrest Gump for the script for Executive Decision because Steven Seagal wanted to star in it.
Wait, stop it.
Yeah. They thought Forrest Gump was like, that's a long shot, whereas Executive Decision, that's a surefire hit.
What if they needed to fill a film for Seagal's contract, and he was Forrest Gump?
That would be incredible.
Steven Seagal is Forrest Gump.
Just kicking ass through history, all slow-mo.
Oh my God. With the shellacked hair.
Exactly. Pulled back all tight.
Oh boy.
So Steven Seagal movies, they came out just prior to this one, the ones that came out prior, he was on a run.
Yeah.
And then he had one that did not do well and then another. So now he's got a 2 bad movie slide, and this movie's yet to come out and it's in production.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers is like, oh no, the bean counters decide, we need to juice up Executive Decision. So they bring in Kurt Russell as a top draw and a major co-star because he can't carry a movie by himself.
Sure.
He's insulted by that. Steven Seagal's like, why would you do that? So apparently his ego bristled. I mean, it hit him like a judo chop. So what does he do? Being Steven Seagal, he takes that on everyone around him.
Kia.
Exactly. The cast, the crew, pretty much anyone on the set of that movie. And I remind you, the cast list: Halle Berry, Kurt Russell, B.D. Wong, Joe Morton, Oliver Platt, who I didn't mention before, John Leguizamo.
I like him too.
Right? They all had to suffer through like 5 weeks of Steven Seagal.
Wait, he was rude to B.D. Wong?
Right? At his pissy pants worst.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, so the other, I'll give you an example. This is from John Leguizamo. At the official cast rehearsals, they haven't started shooting yet. The director's there, B.D. Wong is there, Joe Morton, Oliver Platt, they're all there, right?
Yeah.
In walks Steven Seagal, and he says to everyone in the room, I'm in command. What I say is law. That's
Eli
his
Pope
opening.
is command, but that's aside from that.
That's his opening line.
I'm in command?
Good call. Yeah, I'm in command. What I say is law.
That's how he introduces himself.
Yep. First
I'd be
thing
like
he says.
the FUR.
He walks in. He establishes the tone and temper for the film with that.
Oh, God.
Now, with no further delay, let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, no.
In this corner, we have the Tony Award-winning Broadway actor, star of more than 100 films, the man who can play anything, Mr. John Leguizamo! And in this corner, we have the therapeutic oil salesman, actor, writer, musician, volunteer sheriff's deputy, and martial arts master, star of more than 50 films, the man who made mumble acting a thing, Mr. Steven Seagal!
Wait, isn't he like a Russian citizen now?
Yeah, defected, and Putin gave him citizenship, and he goes over there.
Strange.
He gives like martial arts, like
it's slow motion.
exhibitions,
where he just
slow-mo.
he kind of like
walks around,
waddles around, and people run into him, and he like pretends to throw him down.
Yeah.
And then he wears like very what's his name? Andre Leon Talley, like caftans
totally
now.
big caftans.
Yeah, he's very like eastern end of Russia in his costuming.
Oh my God, completely. Very loose flowing. He's all about the flow, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Now, as our fighters step inside the ring, the two fighters will size each other up. Steven Seagal is not known for his panther-like quickness, so expect a lumbering presence from him today. Now, John Leguizamo, he can move like a spider monkey on a Coke bench. He's got the speed, he's got the agility. Question is can he get inside? Steven Seagal has got the height and the reach. Let's see what the opening move is. Okay, Steven Seagal is lumbering around. As we said, that's to be expected. John Leguizamo is sizing him up, and he looks ready to, yes, here comes the first strike. Elizabeth, yes, John Leguizamo is laughing in his face in a mocking tone. He's scoffing at the self-serious Seagal. That's going to be a wounding blow. Oh, the big man does not like that look at his face. Yeah, no, here's Seagal's response. His hand shoots forward. Oh, he makes contact. Oh, that looks painful. John Leguizamo is just shoved across the film set with some kind of kung fu chop. Leguizamo is not going to be up anytime soon. Oh, kids, let's see if we can get a word from the actor, Mr. Leguizamo. Mr. Leguizamo, how are you feeling? Can you tell us what happened? At this point, Elizabeth, the actor looks up from their fight. Wait,
so this is all right when he walks in and introduces himself?
No, this is, I'm just describing it. This is the imagined moment. I'm just describing for you, that's their entire fight. He laughed in his face, and all of a sudden, Steven Seagal decides, I'm going to go full martial artist on you.
And just
throws him across the room. Okay. Here's how, Mr. Leguizamo, can you tell us anything about what happened? The actor looks up and says, so I started laughing, and he slammed me with like an Aikido elbow against a brick wall, knocked all the air out of me. I dropped to the ground. All I could say was, why? Why?
Oh, my God.
So there you have it, Elizabeth, an artist's recreation of the fight between Steven Seagal and John Leguizamo. But I don't want you to think that Seagal got the last laugh in that. According to Leguizamo, quote, on the days when we shot the scene, when he died, I showed up so early. I wanted to see him die. It was like a fantasy. So he did, and he got to enjoy that catharsis. Now, recently, very recently...
Spoiler alert, by the way, that he dies in the movie.
He said in an interview that he based his character in the movie The Menu on Steven Seagal. This is John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
And I guess the character is this terrible person because Leguizamo added that Seagal was the perfect fit as the model for the character because, quote, he's kind of a horrible human. So
he just goes around assaulting people.
Exactly. It's similar to George Clooney and David O. Russell where decades later, he's still using him as like the high or low water mark in this case. Now, remember I said Steven Seagal versus his pants at the top?
Yes.
Well, there's this guy named Gene LaBoeuf.
Okay.
He was a badass. He was a real judo master. And he was also a legit buddy of Bruce Lee. He was a stunt coordinator, worked with Bruce Lee when Bruce Lee was in Hollywood, back like on the Green Hornet. Yeah. Now, he's this legit martial arts instructor, total stunt coordinator. The studios love him, total pro, works in Hollywood forever, right? At this point, it's 1991. Steven Seagal is coming up. He's at this point making his name. LaBelle was working as a stunt coordinator on Seagal's like big first hit, Out for Justice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which, if you don't know, is this 90s action film, right? It's the one, right? So you can probably tell from the meaningless title, it's an action film. So at the time, LaBelle, 58 years old. He doesn't like bullies. He doesn't like braggarts, blowhards, and BS artists.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, Steven Seagal is all of those. So Steven Seagal had this standing boast at the time, apparently, that he was, I'm immune to chokeholds. Like, he would tell other...
Don't put that out there because someone's going to come and correct the record.
Completely. He would tell... Well, you know, like all martial artists, like, train a lot? Well, he claimed enough that he could... I'm immune to being choked out. You know what?
I'd be like, let me give it a shot.
That's what Gene LaBelle was thinking. So,
and then I come up behind with a garrote.
He didn't go as far as you. Now, then one day on the film set, Steven Seagal was like bad-mouthing a stuntman for like, apparently I guess he was practicing a chokehold or something and he wasn't doing it very well. And Seagal's mistreating the guy. So this badass stunt coordinator, Gene LaBelle, stands up for his stuntman. And I'm guessing LaBelle, criticized the chokehold that Seagal was applying. And Seagal's like, well, that wouldn't be a problem for me. Because remember, I'm immune to chokeholds or whatever. No, because, Seagal's like, basically defending the fact of how he's abusing the staff or the crew, and so LaBelle's like, you can't be doing that, not on my set. He's like, oh yeah, well, yes, I guess he's just not immune to chokehold. Maybe he should train more. Like, he's just being a jerk, right? He's being a Seagal jerk where he's just like, I can slow my heart rate down so it's not a problem for me. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you would think I'm dead. You can basically imagine him. He's like the one kid, like when you were 10, who would say like the wildest stuff and you just knew he was lying, but you didn't want to challenge him because then he would probably do something to hurt himself.
Right.
He's like, so you're saying I couldn't choke you out?
Yeah.
So, anyway, Seagal is like, he basically tells LaBelle, like, mind your own business. LaBelle's like, man, I've heard you talk and I could choke you out. He's like, you think you can choke me out? I'm immune. So LaBelle's like, I could choke you out. And he's like, no, I'm not. You could. I'm immune. So they get into it. And apparently at some point, Steven Seagal's like, yeah, let's get into position. Go. And he lets him put the squeeze on him. 3, 2, 1. Steven Seagal's head lolls. He goes out, right? Because LaBelle's no
he knows
joke.
what he's doing.
And apparently while he's out, he soils himself. And I'm talking like he filled both the front and the back of his jeans.
Nice.
Yeah, karate gi, whatever he was wearing. So before he passed away, Gene LaBelle spoke with the MMA journalist Ariel Helwani, right? And this guy wanted to get the story from him because he would never tell the story. He just wouldn't. So finally he gets LaBelle to tell the story and he's like, all right, well, when we had a little altercation or difference of opinion, there were 30 stuntmen and cameramen that were watching. Sometimes Steven has a tendency to cheese off to the wrong people. You can get hurt doing that. So he's just like classic tough guy, right?
Yeah.
But what does he mean by that exactly? The guy presses him, LaBelle goes, well, if a guy soils himself, you can't criticize him because if they just had a nice big dinner an hour before, you might just have a tendency to do that. So he basically it confirms that he made him crap out.
Yeah, he filled his palazzo pants.
Now, also, right before he finishes his story, he says at one point, he's talking about like why he doesn't tell the story and like why Steven Seagal shouldn't talk so much. And he uses his pure dojo wisdom. And he's like, closed mouth, don't catch any foot.
Oh.
I'm adding that to the mantra for Burnett.
Yeah.
Hey, Burnett, remember, closed mouth, don't catch any foot. Anyway, on that note, let me close my mouth. We'll take a break, listen to some ads, chill out, and be back in 2 and 2. Hey, Elizabeth, we're back.
Zaron.
You ready for round 2 of Celebrity Beefs?
I sure am.
Now, for this next one, I have an equally strange pairing of, in this case, men, both egotists. One is a lover, not a fighter, a reported pacifist, a Buddhist, and the Dalai Lama's best buddy in Hollywood. The other is Sylvester Stallone. So any guesses on who the other stars in this, the next fight undercard?
Who's the Dalai Lama pal? Richard Gere.
Yes, the next fight in the undercard's a wild one. Producer D? In this corner, we have the American gigolo himself, the officer, or was he the gentleman? Who knows? The John, though, to her pretty woman, Mr. Richard Gere. And in this corner, Elizabeth, we have the Italian stallion, Tango, or was he Cash? He's the brother of Frank. He's the one with the first blood energy, the man who has a knife named after his character, Rambo. That's right, Rocky Balboa himself, Sylvester Stallone! Elizabeth.
Zaron.
Now, if you can believe it, now that we got these two guys into our metaphysical ring,
Yes.
they get into it, right? But before they were famous, before they were matinee idols, back when they were both young up-and-comers looking for their big break, trying to catch time on film.
Interesting.
They were both in a film called The Lords of Flatbush.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
You know that 1974 film set in 1958 Brooklyn?
Yeah.
It's a story about a group of black leather-clad greasers with their slick back hair.
Sure.
One of them is Fonzie, but he's playing a different character. Henry Winkler's in it. Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone are in it. But that all changed because of the story I'm about to tell you, because Richard Gere was not in it when the film was done. The story goes, on the set of Lords of Flatbush, Stallone used to clock Richard Gere doing his best, like, cock of the walk parade around the set.
Yeah.
And it bothered Stallone, right?
Really?
Oh, yeah. He had, like, a real inferiority complex when he was a young man. And this triggered it, hit all the buttons, like, just put his hands on the keyboard of Stallone, right?
Yeah.
So Richard Gere, he knew he was a pretty boy with good hair, and he acted like it.
Sure.
And so Stallone burns with envy. So I found Stallone's versions of this story. So Stallone was once, he did an AMA on the old fan site, Ain't It Cool News?
Oh, yeah, I
right?
remember that site.
And I found that he tells the story of how he has his beef with Richard Gere began. And now take it away, Sylvester Stallone. He would strut around his oversized motorcycle jacket like he was the baddest knight at the round table. One day, during an improv, he grabbed me. We were simulating a fight scene, and I got a little carried away. I told him in a gentle fashion to lighten up, but he was completely in character, impossible to deal with. So this is the beginning. They're already butting heads, young actors, right? But you have to understand, they're on a film together, so they were guaranteed way more interactions when they weren't on in front of the cameras.
Sure.
Then came the Coney Island incident. That's what I'm calling it. The Coney Island incident.
Okay.
Back to Stallone and his Ain't It Cool News reporting on his own past.
Yes.
We were rehearsing at Coney Island, and it was lunchtime, and so we decided to take a break. And the only place that was warm was in the back seat of a Toyota. I was eating a hot dog, and he climbs in with half a chicken and covered in mustard, with grease nearly dripping out of an aluminum wrapper.
Wait, he got a half chicken?
Yes, Richard Gere climbs into the back of a Toyota with half of a chicken covered in mustard.
I like the cut of his chin.
I thought you would. Now, already seated in the back of that same Toyota, Sly Stallone is eating like what I'm imagining is a Nathan's Famous hot dog.
Totally.
Right? So with that image well in mind, back to Stallone's story and Richard Gere and his greasy mustard-coated half a chicken. I said, that thing is going to drip all over the place. And he said, yeah, don't worry about it. I said, if it gets on my pants, you're going to know about it. He proceeds to bite into the chicken, and a small greasy river of mustard lands on my thigh. I elbowed him in the side of the head and basically pushed him out of the car. So,
and then they're all piled into a car.
Totally.
These greasy...
Yeah,
this
half a
amazing.
chicken in the back of a Toyota.
Oh, Lords of Flatbush.
In the 70s? No one had Toyotas in the 70s.
No, Lords of Flatbush it was like, you see it, I saw it at Blockbuster, like on the shelf, and you're like, that looks cool.
Hey,
and then
that?
you get it, and you're like, I wasted
that's why I've never heard of this.
I wasted a rental on this one.
I wasted a rental. I totally had that thought. Also, I love that in this moment, Sylvester Stallone's like, hey, my clothing, my pants, my disco pants.
Yeah, I
hey.
mean, what's up, tough guy? Just like...
you got to get out of my Toyota. No, at this point...
was it a sedan?
I imagine like a Toyota Celica, like one of those.
Let's pretend they climbed into the bed of a pickup.
There you go. I don't think it'd be warm,
That's
but I
cute.
like that. They're laid up
cute.
in blankets together,
like
looking at the stars.
With one of the camper.
Cab over. Yeah, okay. So at this point now, the film...
That's creepier.
It is creepier. Way creepier. You put them in the back of a truck. So the film has a problem because two of their leads do not like each other, and you can't have battling stars, or you can if your director's good at it, like Hitchcock or somebody like that. But also, it's a problem because they're the lesser names on the marquee. You don't want that kind of distraction.
Who was the director on this?
I do not know. I could not tell you.
Okay, it doesn't really matter.
So at this point, Stallone, back to Stallone, he tells the story. The director had to make a choice. One of us had to go. One of us had to stay. Richard was given his walking papers, and to this day, seriously dislikes me. He even thinks I'm the individual responsible for the gerbil rumor. Not true.
Oh, my God.
That's the rumor.
Oh, my God.
Whoa, Rocky, let him up. You're killing him. Rocky, come on, man.
I have so little respect for adult professionals who can't pull it together and just, we all have to work with people we can't stand.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I've had jobs where it's just like, oh my God, if I hear this person talk one more time. But you do your job, and like to be like, oh, it's him or me.
Yeah.
It's not your project.
Well, you're not Sylvester Stallone.
Thank God.
But by the way, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since he did, he ends with the big whammy, the Richard Gere gerbil story.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. But I've never considered this before, but now that he brought it up, do you think that Sylvester Stallone started the gerbil rumor?
If he said it like that, yeah.
Because here he is decades later. No one's brought it up.
No.
And he's bringing it up like, just want to give this a little more life.
How amazing are those kind of rumors that spread pre-internet?
Yes. Oh, yeah,
like,
totally. Everybody knew that.
Know?
Everyone heard that because it was the elements were so amazing.
Yeah, but like, how did we all know that? How did the word get around?
It's just the elements. Like, one person tells another person, it's a story that's going to hit it. And as long as one person hears it, they're going to tell people, and then they tell two people. It's literally one of those, like,
I think it was Sly. I think he's freaky deaky.
if this was the mafia, he's the rat. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, fast forward 2 decades to the 1990s. Now they've both become stars, and their stars are fading, and they're trying to reclaim their stars. And they both have movies doing well in the 90s, so they're on their second wave of stardom. Elton John is hosting a party.
He gets involved.
At his home for Jeffrey Katzenberg, who is still with Disney at this point.
This is the most 90s party ever.
Thought so. It's part of the... I thought you'd like this story.
Yeah, I do. I love this.
You have part of the schmoozing of what and boozing that goes on in a Hollywood film promotional tour in the 90s is you have a party at Elton John's house.
Sure.
So it's 1994, and Disney had The Lion King out, just roaring across film screens worldwide.
It's a
Everybody
circle of
loves
life,
it.
dude.
You know it. So Elton John throws a party in London, right? And I guess half of everybody is there because also there that night is Richard Gere and you guessed it, Sly Stallone.
Oh my God.
Elton John doesn't know not to invite the two of them.
Well, and he's really hitting the A-list there.
And they still hate each other, by the way.
Yeah.
And also at the party is a newly single and looking to mingle Princess Diana of Wales.
Oh my God.
So
Okay, go ahead.
We'll leave it to Sir Elton to tell the story. Straight away, Richard Gere and Diana seem very taken with each other. Now, at this point, Richard Gere has married and divorced Cindy Crawford.
Well, that's right.
And Princess Diana had done the same to Prince Charles, now King Charles.
Yeah.
Apparently, they were both feeling a little thirsty, or as you would say, she was warm for his form.
Yeah.
And he was aching.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah, he was aching for her bacon.
Auga.
Yeah, I just made that one up for you.
Aching for her bacon.
I don't know, it doesn't make any sense.
That.
Anyway, back to Sir Elton.
Yeah, why not?
As the rest of us chatted, I couldn't help notice a strange atmosphere in the room. Judging by the kind of looks he kept shooting them, Diana and Richard Gere's newly blossoming friendship was not going down with Sylvester Stallone at all.
Wait.
I think he may have turned up to the party with the express intention of picking Diana up, only to find his plans for the evening ruined.
Sylvester Stallone thought he was going to pull Princess Di
at Elton John's house in London, and then he got there and Richard Gere, his old nemesis, is there.
These two.
Captain Goodhair.
I mean, I could see Richard Gere happening, but Sylvester Stallone, stay in your lane, my man.
No.
You're no Dodie.
So we got Elton John now clocking Sad Boy Stallone as he's losing the princess, his old rival.
I'm having a really hard time with this.
Pretty boy Goodhair. I mean, Richard Gere. Now, what happens next will likely not surprise you. Cut to the dinner service portion of this London dinner party. Yeah. Everyone is seated for dinner. Elton notices that there are two prominent seats empty. Sylvester Stallone and Richard Gere. Where could they be, Elizabeth? So Elton John calls for his husband, David Furnish, and sends him out to investigate. David, go look. And in no time, he finds the two 80s matinee idols outside. They're both squaring up to each other, apparently about to settle their differences over Diana by having a fist fight.
Stop it. Oh, my God.
They had literally done you want to take this outside?
Yeah, they're going to have a duel over the lady.
Over the lady, yes. So Elton John's husband breaks up the fist fight between Richard Gere and Sylvester Stallone.
Incredible.
So back to Sir Elton. After dinner, Diana and Richard Gere resumed their position together in front of the fire, and Sylvester stormed off home.
Aww.
So in his retreat, though, Sly apparently had enough time to stop and tell Elton that he, quote, never would have come if he knew Prince Effin' Charming was going to be there.
Oh, my God.
I don't know why that story delights me so much.
It's incredible. That's
just a simple tale of a fist fight, but somehow it reveals how ridiculous our world is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it brings me to
his clown show.
My favorite beef of the bunch. In this corner, Producer D, if you don't mind. In this corner, we have the bane of Shia's existence, the Venom in denim, the one-time rapper turned Hollywood actor turned dog dad, Mr. Tom Hardy. And in this corner, we have the man who's more than meets the eye, the artist not in residence, the angriest man in Hollywood, Shia LaBoeuf. Elizabeth.
Zaron.
You told the story of Willie Carter Sharp, the moonshine-running Prohibition-era getaway driver.
I certainly did.
Femme fatale, all-around badass.
Yes.
Well, Tom Hardy and Shia LaBeouf starred in a movie about her family, her gang, right? The 2012 film Lawless, based on the book The Wettest County in the World, about Prohibition-era backwoods gangster brothers, the Bondurant family. In the film, they play the Bondurant brothers. Great movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, during the production of that movie, apparently there were tensions amongst these very taut actors. Yeah. The two notably intense. Like everybody knows, these are probably the most intense working actors, other than like Daniel Day-Lewis and a couple others.
Sure.
And anyway, one day they get into a bit of a tussle. And here's how Tom Hardy tells the tale. I got knocked out by Shia LaBeouf, actually. In Wettest County, apparently. And the apparently is there for effect. He lets the statement sink in that one, Shia LaBeouf knocked him out, and two, he's unaware of it.
Wow.
Yes, because Tom Hardy knows how ridiculous that must sound.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's something he knows that you don't know. And after the appropriate pause, and because he's a good storyteller, Tom Hardy picks his story back up and adds the missing details, saying how, quote, it was behind the scenes. No, he did. He knocked me out. Sparko. Out cold. He's a bad, bad boy. He is. He's quite intimidating as well. He's a scary dude. So some folks might hear that and think he's kidding, he's joshing around, but I know what he knows. I learned without the benefit of having to be punched by Shia LaBeouf. Elizabeth, you want to know what Tom Hardy and I know about Shia?
I do.
He's a legitimate LA gangbanger.
He's a gangbanger?
For real. No, for real. And no joke.
Like he's gripping?
Is full-on, jumped in, never jumped out gang member. From back when he was a kid actor and coming up on Disney shows, he was also poor, living in a mostly Mexican neighborhood right by the east side, by Dodger Stadium. He joined a gang, and he used to do all that slap boxing and fighting.
He's like MS-13.
He can throw hands. He is a well-trained street kid.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Shia is also a live wire as a person. If you leave that aside.
Oh, yeah, he's very troubled.
You put that together, sparky guy. He's like that old timer at the bar you do not want to fight.
Yeah.
That's him, right? Like an Irish boxer, a bare knuckle boxer, that kind, right? Anyway, back to the story. As Tom Hardy tells it, he just attacked me. He was drinking moonshine. I was wearing a cardigan and it went down. I woke up in Peanut's arms.
I was wearing a cardigan.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Peanut is his personal trainer who's keeping him in shape for the movie. And so when his personal trainer sees Shia LaBeouf knock out Tom Hardy, according to Tom Hardy, Peanut was concerned for me. I was like, what was that? It was lightning fast. And he said, that was Shia. And I said, can we go home now? No, we've got still 3 weeks to finish. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, now if you ask the director, Jim Hillcoat, he tells a much different story. I found an AMA on your favorite site, Reddit. He said that Shia did not knock out Tom Hardy. Or as he answered the question, quote, no, that's not true. But there was definitely a fight between them. It escalated to the point where they had to both be restrained. But I was very pleased to hear it didn't go that way because I would hate to see the outcome.
Oh, God.
Right? Yeah. So, lastly, we have the man who threw the hands, Shia.
Yeah.
He tells two versions because it's Shia.
It's Shia, yeah.
He's like the Bob Dylan of acting. You ain't going to get the same story twice. So, the first version, which he told IndieWire, was, quote, yeah, that's a bunch of we used to wrestle all the time, and Tom Hardy's a big person, especially then. He was getting ready to play Bane. So there's more to the story than that because this was the first version he told. But in the second version, there's way more detail, like strip down, show the world everything sort of detail. According to Shia, he had just finished a workout at his house, like on his on-set house.
Yeah.
And then Tom Hardy swings by with his trainer from the gym, and he comes bounding into Shia's place, but Shia is already occupied.
Yeah.
He's in bed with his girlfriend, sans clothing.
Oh, God.
Tom Hardy do not care. Tom Hardy's like, I rock with no clothing. So anyway, this is how Shia tells the story on the Wings and Hot Sauce show, Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, we used to with each other all the time, but it just so happened that this one week, my girlfriend was in town, and he runs into the room. And this girl I was with at the time was terrified. She covered up, she ran into the kitchen, and he picked me up. And I didn't have nothing on. So now I'm naked on his shoulder, and we're in the hallway, we're wrestling around. I'm like, Peanut is filming it all, and I'm like, Peanut, you can't be filming this shit. And then we're like wrestling, and I got upset about it because he got the better of me. But I'm in some weird twisty naked position. My shit's over here, my shit's over here, and I'm like, oh, do not. And he wound up inching over to the stairs where we're like the stairs to the balcony were. And he fell down the stairs, and he wound up hurting his back. And so for the rest of the shoot, he told everybody I knocked him out. But that wasn't the case. We were having some sort of cutie wrestling match. Elizabeth.
And he was wearing a cardigan.
Exactly. So there's the story apparently told all the ways. There's the cubist version of this story.
Yeah, so we have a crime of I got knocked out.
I got knocked out by surprise.
And then,
woken up by my trainer. Another one, I surprised him while he was in flagrante delicto.
In a breaking and entering.
And I had Peanut filming it.
Peanut.
And then
Peanut, what's happening with you?
Peanut, you're making weird life choices.
How did you get into this?
Yeah, so there you go, Elizabeth.
Peanut, why are you so easily manipulated.
Yes, maybe if Tom Hardy was going to jump off a bridge, Peanut, would you jump off the bridge?
I don't know though.
And
if I was
film it.
If I'm hanging with Tom Hardy, he's like,
filming
watch
everything?
this. I'm going to film this. I'd be like, sure, dude.
Film everything.
Yeah, I love that guy.
It's your job. It's pretty much just like, hey.
You know, you got to stay above ground and paid.
That's true. Those are your mottos.
That's my motto.
For Hollywood interactions.
Yeah.
Oh, Elizabeth, much of the truth of their supposed rivalry and fistfight, as I think we're going to learn, unless Peanut releases the tapes.
Oh, yeah, right? Peanut.
So let's take another break. And after these messages, we'll be back with the best of the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth.
Zaron.
I saved the best for last.
I did too.
Did you?
No.
That's what that look is? Now, this next one takes place at the Met Gala. It was a decade ago, a more innocent time. The year was 2014.
Yeah.
And this next mad scene went down in an elevator.
Okay.
But for our last tale,
yes.
I present to you when a beef royale, Jay-Z versus Solange Knowles.
Oh, I love this so much.
Before we dive in, you know the fullness of the story, correct? You know all the gritty and gossipy details?
Pretty much.
Well, we'll get to the albums and related songs later, but for now, let's start with the interested parties. As you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce were married at the time and remain married to this day. Solange Knowles is Beyonce's younger sister and remains her younger sister to this day.
Yes.
At no point did she become her older sister.
That's pretty good achievement.
Dude, my sister passed me up. Now she's my little big sister. I'm like, God, this is so terrible. Now I'm the little big brother. Now, as you also know, Anna Wintour is the grande dame of the Met Gala. She comes up with the theme for the year. It's the guest list of stars, celebrities, glitterati, blah, blah, blah. It's her party. This evening, 2014, was a charming affair. Rihanna was there, all white. Naomi Campbell was there, also in all white. Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen were there in matching black, her and Balenciaga. Yeah, the theme for the year, the Met was Charles James, courtier, and for men, it was white tie.
Oh, okay.
Very simple theme that year. Now, which is why David Beckham wore a white dinner jacket tuxedo, while Victoria Beckham wore matching white. As the Cut reported, quote, Victoria Beckham wears dress by Victoria Beckham. David Beckham wears shoes by Christian Louboutin. So, or Louboutin? I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Louboutin. Anyway,
I don't know.
Damn. I just love Victoria Beckham wears dress by Victoria Beckham. Now, following the dress code.
But it's like as if she was like sewing it herself in her workshop.
Yes. Her handmade dress made out of curtains. So, following the dress code, Jay-Z also wore a white jacket dinner coat tuxedo, right? So he's looking like Rick from Casablanca.
Yeah, cocaine.
And Beyonce wore Givenchy with a veil, like very 1920s, very early 30s look, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, things didn't get spicy at the Met Gala proper. Instead, it was at the after party.
Louboutin.
There you go. That is. Where all the drama is lurking at the after party. Solange apparently was already in a sour mood that night.
Yeah.
I don't know if her heels were killing her after a long night or what, but from what I gleaned from the gossip sites and the subreddits, Solange was walking around in the after party with a sour face, pissed off, and she bumps into the designer, Rachel Roy.
Okay.
And I think Rachel Roy came up to her. That's kind of what I've read.
Yeah.
This is notable for two reasons. One, Rachel Roy is the ex-wife of Jay-Z's former business partner, Dame Dash.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And two, rumor has it, she is Becky with the good hair.
Yeah.
So at this point,
let me alone, Becky.
The alleged Becky with the good hair stops Solange Knowles at the party. They have some exchange. Rachel Roy says something jacked up, something that hits like vinegar in a glass of milk, and Solange makes a sour face. Extrema walks off, but she's not done being mad because of this provocation. Elizabeth, she is in fact far from being done. At this point, Solange is like, held to the no to this after party, right? She goes up to find her big sister, Beyonce, so she can tell her that Rachel Roy just had the gall to come up and get in my face and say to me, and then she tells her, we are noping out of this after party, right?
Yeah.
Now, my point is, Solange heated, right? Redlining. They come turbo.
Yeah.
She finds Beyonce, I'm guessing with one look, her big sister's like, okay, and then gave her security the sign, like, start exit plan B.
Yeah.
Right? So now they are ready to pop. And Beyonce tells her security people, you know, they coordinated. Jay-Z is notified. Beyonce and Solange Knowles head for the exits together in one group, right? So you got Beyonce, Jay-Z, Solange, security team, heading for the exits, guided by their bodyguards. They come to an elevator. Solange is holding herself back with all of her might from whatever Rachel Roy just told her.
Yeah.
She knows her big sister Beyonce needs her to not make a scene at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
Both for herself, but mostly for Beyonce.
Yeah.
But she's a sensitive soul, Elizabeth.
She's like one of those impossibly cool people.
Yes.
Like there's like a handful.
Yes, totally.
Where it's like she's so and cool in the sense of like so out there
Like
and
Bjork.
original.
Yes.
Yeah. Bjork's one.
Sinead O'Connor.
Andre 3000.
Andre 3000.
Where
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't even know what atmosphere you're in, but you're just like
Lauryn Hill's kind of there.
impossibly cool. Yeah. Anyway.
She's just so she's also super duper protective of her big sister.
Yeah.
She's like a little sister, extreme to the like, I'll get violent. I will tear faces. So anyway, at this point, Solange Knowles is rocking around like a bear in an airplane bathroom, right? And she can barely contain herself, nor can the bathroom contain her. She knows the volume of her rage is going to get just like church cathedrals couldn't hold it. Once she lets it out, no telling what will happen.
Yeah.
She knows this about herself.
Yeah.
She's trying to get to that elevator. Nobody else knows this. The elevator arrives, right? Doors open. Solange is the first to step into this tiny box, right? She's holding a clutch purse. Jay-Z follows her, and then Beyonce's trailing after Jay-Z. Security, like one of their like primary large-bodied bodyguards.
Yeah.
He steps into there, and he's holding the door for Beyonce. So he's got his back to the inside of the elevator. He's looking out, watching her approach.
Yeah.
And now this is a small hotel elevator. It's not like a big thing.
Yeah.
This is like and the doors close once Beyonce steps in. Now, no one can see them, right? When Beyonce is about to step in. But just before the doors close, Solange can't help herself and starts getting in Jay-Z's face. So people see the beginnings of a scene and then the doors close.
Yeah.
Ultimate mystery.
Yeah.
But once there's no longer any worries of making a scene, now Solange is able to let it out. In order to tell you what happens when Solange goes boom, Elizabeth, I need you to close your eyes.
My eyes are closed.
And I'd like you to picture it. It's been a long night for you, Elizabeth. 3 weeks ago, you were in Indio, California, there for a surprise performance by your boss, Beyonce, at her sister Solange's headliner set at Coachella. That was no fun for you. The backstage was barely secure. Seemed like everyone and their dog walker could get a pass backstage. Keeping Beyonce safe from the nutters is a full-time job. But when you add in close exposure to folks at a place like Coachella, it's like you're a secret service for the president. Only more important because you're protecting Beyonce. Now, tonight, the gig has been a strain. New York is always a challenge for bodyguards. There's so much having to go down to the street to leave. Unlike, say, LA, where it's a car-built culture and the resulting parking lots built underneath the buildings provide far less exposure for the stars. The ins and outs are much easier from a security perspective, which has been a little easier than, say, Coachella. That's because Anna Wintour runs a tight ship. Beyonce, along with her husband Jay-Z, as well as her sister Solange, are in Manhattan to hit Anna Wintour's annual fashion mega event, the Met Gala. You knew that meant a long night for you and your sore dogs. It has been exactly that. Now your fallen arches are aching. You cannot wait to get home and take off these brand new dress shoes. But first, you have to endure this after party. That's where you are now, at the Standard Hotel. Thankfully, Beyonce has just given you the signal to clear an exit path. You and your team do exactly that. Crisp, clear, just as you practice. Now she's stepping into the elevator following her husband, Jay-Z, and her sister Solange. You hold the door open for Beyonce just like you practiced. Your head is turned so you don't exactly see how it starts. You just hear it. Before the elevator doors can fully close, Solange must spin around on her heels. And she gets in Jay's face, and you hear her ask, "Is it true? Is it true?" He has no idea what she's talking about, or so it seems, because Jay asks, "What true?" "You heard me, you Troy Aikman-looking SOB." This is a problem for you. You know what Beyonce would want you to do, so you do that. You start furiously tapping the closed door button. The doors do not react quickly enough because Solange has gone full mask off. She's dropped any pretense at proper behavior. She gets right in her brother-in-law's face and yells, spittle hitting his face, "Did you do it?" Jay's like, "Do what?" "You know what?" you hear Solange say as you turn back, finally still hoping these damn elevator doors will close. Solange ain't waiting for anything. She throws a right. She tries to hit Jay-Z in the face with her tasteful beaded clutch. But Jay is too street to get caught sleeping like that. He's also quick to raise a hand and block it. So Solange pulls back for a second blow. The elevator doors are just about to close. Jay blocks it again. The doors close. Solange ain't done. She pulls back, and this time, Jay isn't quick enough to block it. Her right hand connects with his famous face. Meanwhile, you don't know what to do. It's all gone so wrong so fast. You never expect the threat to come from inside the family. After a moment of hesitation, you reach around and surround Solange with your arms, and you hold her back from going full Muhammad Ali on Hove's face. But she's still not done. And she's got 2 other limbs you have not restrained. So she uses those limbs. You feel her squirm as she sets up, and then Kia! She kicks Jay-Z. He catches her foot. She kicks him again. You realize you're going to need to fully separate them, so you pull Solange back further. She senses it, and she takes another swipe at Jay-Z with her right foot before she's out of range. She misses. You are impressed. Her commitment to hurting him is remarkable. You elbow the emergency stop button and pause the elevator between floors, somewhere between the 11th and 12th floors. You hope that your quick thinking will keep this fight from becoming headline news tomorrow. And then you look up and you see it, the surveillance camera in the corner of the elevator. You sigh to yourself, so much for your quick thinking. It's a nice effort, though, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
really nice effort. You tried. You're
I really
a professional.
did. I know.
Now, what you don't realize at the time is that you just witnessed an event that will lead to not 1, but 2 albums.
Yeah.
Not 1, but 2 tours, as well as the incredible visual album Lemonade that establishes Beyonce as the preeminent multimedia artist of her generation.
Yes.
That's all to come. For now, they need to get out of this building without making more of a scene. It's decided that while the 3 exit the Met Gala after party together, the husband and wife do not leave together in the same car.
Oh.
Beyonce and Solange are escorted to one car. Security takes Jay-Z to a different car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I read everything I could find on this one. At this point, what had happened was Rachel Roy, alleged to be the woman that Jay-Z slept with, thus cheating on his wife, Beyonce, she came up to Beyonce's sister and said in her face that she essentially was the one, and like, maybe you're going to be the ex-sister-in-law or something to this effect, intimating that Jay-Z and her had known each other in the biblical sense. Solange did not let her finish all of her thought before she told her where she should go and spun around, right? So this provokes Solange, and then she immediately confronts Jay-Z with, is this true? Which then leads to the squabble up because he denies it and she knows he's lying.
Yeah.
Next, Beyonce and Jay-Z then have a convo about his alleged infidelity. Jay-Z's first impulse is to lie, right? He denies it.
Yeah.
He does that for a while, but lying to Beyonce ain't easy.
No.
The truth is going to come out.
It is.
It did. Jay-Z admits he did, in fact, have an affair. Beyonce is shocked, heartbroken. She's faced with a difficult decision.
Yeah.
Can she forgive his Troy Aikman-looking face? Or does she even want to fight for her marriage? She answers those 2 questions and others, and it leads to the greatest work of art of the 21st century, her visual album, Lemonade.
Yes.
I know you love it as much as I do.
I
Perhaps
do.
more than I do. I don't know. But I got to ask, what's your favorite track or video or lyric or turn of phrase? Anything from Lemonade that just jumps to mind?
It's the whole thing. It is so genius.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, genius album. But the visuals
album, kill me. Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
The New Orleans stuff, like the cop car and the inundated, and then the little boy in front of, and so
everything.
The big hat and the nodding. I mean, like the moments. So Jay-Z, he at this point, he knows he's wrong. Everybody knows he's wrong because of Lemonade.
It's such a great journey too through the narrative of it.
It's a masterwork. I mean, it literally is a masterwork.
It really is.
And she talks about her decision to forgive and her restoration of herself, and she has to be honest with herself, and her dream is gone, her fantasies are gone, her illusions are gone. Now she has to be real with her love.
Yeah.
So after all this and all the acclaim and love she gets for what Lemonade is, Jay-Z goes to the lab with pen and a pad, and he starts scratching out lyrics. He comes back with his album, 444.
Which is a fantastic album.
Also a very good album, right?
But it's also notes from my therapy session.
Yeah. Well, he's got that one song, Kill Jay-Z.
Yes.
What a great title.
So good.
He essentially admits his infidelity in that, and he tried to make Beyonce believe him over her sister.
Yeah.
And how both of those acts were very wrong, right? Both lying to her and trying to split her from her sister, essentially.
Yeah.
Or as he rhymed it, you egged Solange on, knowing all along, all you had to say, I was wrong.
Yep.
In case that was too subtle, he also had another song on the album called I Apologize, Often Womanize, I Don't Deserve You.
Yeah. He puts it right up there.
Which, in that moment, don't be subtle. Like, write your message in the sky.
Yes,
write a song and record a whole album about it if you want to hold on to Beyonce. Once again, he is able to keep Beyonce from leaving him because of his infidelity. And in the end, it wasn't Jay-Z versus Solange. It was Jay-Z versus Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the rival he made along the way.
That's true.
Now, as for Beyonce, obviously...
What if he would have pressed charges against her? I don't know why it's so funny.
Yeah, totally. That would have been really... Like, he
Her
goes
getting hauled off
full
in
legal
cuffs.
assault on her.
Yeah.
Now, as for Beyonce, Lemonade is considered, as I said, we've both said, no BS, one of the greatest works of art of the modern era. And I'm not kidding. Rolling Stone ranked it the best album of this century.
Yeah.
And the 32nd album of all time, of all the albums ever recorded.
Wow.
The album won Grammys, it won MTV Video Music Awards, it won a Peabody Award.
Yeah.
Right? All because Solange stayed true and because Jay-Z tried to lie but had to come clean. And Beyonce, how she turned her pain and grief and confusion and her restoration into art.
Yeah.
That's why we call her the queen.
She is.
So there you go. And also, she still wasn't done because in case Jay-Z or anyone else needed a reminder, on her song Cozy off of her album Renaissance, Beyonce sang the lyrics, confident, damn, she lethal. Might I suggest you don't with my sis because she comfortable. And that's where we'll leave this one, Elizabeth, with Beyonce getting the last word.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, what's our ridiculous takeaway here?
Oh, my goodness. The egos involved are so severe. I think that's none of them are able to kind of let go of the ego. Mm-hmm. Even Richard Gere, Mr. Buddhist, he gets tangled
I've never
up
believed that Buddhist stuff.
No, not at all.
Nothing about what he does seems very Buddhist, other than hanging out with the Dalai Lama.
No, exactly. But I'm really hung up on Sly Stallone thinking he had a chance with Princess Diana.
Hey, princess, you like art? You like paintings? I'm a painter.
What's your ridiculous takeaway?
I once met him. That's why my spot on accurate accent.
Stallone.
You're like, whoa, Zaron, did you guys get Stallone for this? Well, it's because I met him. So
I met him too.
Yeah, did you? What was he like when you met him?
Actually, I met his kid. I was
Sage.
I was like 13, and he's we were on a ski lift in Park City, Utah.
Nice.
And I sat next to him, and then Stallone almost knocked my brother over coming down
that's very Stallone.
the hill.
Yeah. I got to talk paint and colors with him for an hour walking around, and he was just inventing colors. He's like, I think this room should be chartreuse. we were painting his office for his production company.
Okay.
And I was in my house painting days, Elizabeth.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway.
High profile.
I know, right? Just name dropping over here.
Just working with Sly.
So, yeah. And then there's more to that story, but I will not tell it here. You in the mood for a talk back?
Yes,
we can wash all this away.
Yes, please.
Talk back. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey guys, I was just listening to the saga of Chewie, the meth pipe raccoon, and Elizabeth had mentioned that maybe they'll make a movie about a raccoon like Cocaine Bear. They actually did. It's in 2024. It was called Crackcoon, and I tried looking up IMDb notes about it. There was not much there, sorry, but I thought that was ridiculous, and you guys could totally go check it out if you need something to do.
That is 100% ridiculous. Crackcoon?
Yes, Crackcoon.
Okay, I'm going to find it. That is disgusting
because
and
those little
ridiculous.
trash pandas deserve that kind of treatment.
Oh my God. Thank you for that. Yes.
Well, as always, you can find us online at Ridiculous Crime on the social medias. And we now have our account, Ridiculous Crime Pod on YouTube, all one phrase. And we have our website, ridiculouscrime.com, also one phrase. I think we just won a Clio Award for Best Advertising in Europe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very exciting.
Cool.
And we love your talkback. So please go to the iHeart app, download it, and leave a talkback, and maybe hear your voice
Get
on
sassy.
here. And we can go, yeah, man. But you can also keep it old school if you like. You can email us if you want at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. We like those too. But please start it out, dear producer D. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next crime. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by Solange Knowles' sparring partner and Jay-Z's secret ghostwriter for his greeting cards, Dave Houston. And starring Annalise Rucker as Judith. Research is by Shia LaBoeuf's worst nightmare, Marissa Brown. Our theme song is by Thomas, we do this for you, the people, Lee, and Travis, was that supposed to be Bane? Okay, Dutton. The host wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are Ben. Honey Boy is an underrated movie. Bowling. And Noel. Jay-Z should have known better, but thankfully we got Lemonade. Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.